Hello, this is Pepperboy and welcome back to another video. Today, I will be ranking every weapon in Rocket Bot Royale. Before we get into the video, I would like to share a game that I made last week called The Underground. The link is in the description. And now, onto the rankings, where we're starting with drills. In drills, I put into C tier because they do have like a little bit of use, but they're not useful that often. Cause they can go through the ground, which can be useful to maneuver and sometimes to hit the enemy into the water, and to hit enemies through the ground if you have good timing. But they do have higher gravity and aren't useful that often, so that's why I said that they're niche. The next one is homing missiles, which I put into A tier because they're pretty useful. They're good for when someone's like around the corner and the only way to like stop them is to either get something in front of them or to hit them with your bullet, which is pretty hard to do, especially when you're midair. But a problem that they have is that sometimes they don't aim at the place that you think they will, and then they go behind you to someone that you can't see or is through the terrain, which isn't the best, but other than that, they're pretty good. And now onto Rapidfire, which is B tier. They're pretty good. They don't have too many use cases, but they're pretty fun to like spam around when you have a bunch of them in a row. And they deal a decent amount of damage, but they're pretty inaccurate, so they're decent. They're decent. And next up is Flak, which I put into A tier, even though it is my favorite one to use. You can just go right up to people and hit them with a flak and then they're dead, and it's just as easy as that. The only problem is that they do have like a little bit of short range, but in most cases when you use it, it doesn't matter. Just go up to people and hit them. When I started, I knew I didn't like it because I was like, oh, it's too short range to actually do much. But once you play around with it for a little bit, it's really good. And next up is Nuke, which pretty much has no downsides other than a little bit of a higher gravity. It can destroy a lot of the ground, and it does more damage than the normal missile, so it's just really good. I did have a great triple kill with some nukes, but I somehow lost the recording, so I'm really sad about that. Next up is Mines, which is a hard decision because they recently buffed it, and I'm still not quite sure what to make of it, but I think it's an A. Like, Mines used to be really bad. Like, if you walked onto a mine just like straight up, it would deal no damage. Like, it would deal like a tiny sliver of damage, unless you hit them directly. But now they're better because they actually deal as much damage as you think they would, and that's just like a normal damage amount. So they're good now, I feel like. Next up is Grenades, which I put into C tier, which I think is a bit controversial, but I mean, they do sometimes do a lot of damage, but they're really finicky. Like, sometimes you feel like they should do a lot of damage, but they don't do anything at all. Yeah, they're just really weird, and I don't understand them. And last, but definitely not least, is Shields, which is a very easy S tier. Shields are just too good. You can't be dealt damage inside of them, and it reflects it right back at them, which can end up killing them. At the end of a game, it just oftentimes comes down to who has the most shields. So what did you think of my rankings? Did you think any of them should have been higher or lower? Anyways, see you later and have a good night.